Good morning, everybody. This is Jimmy Guerrero, your money coach through World Business Society, Capuccino Financiero. How is Las Vegas this morning? How is Las Vegas doing? I know it's a little bit too early, but hopefully with your cup of coffee, tea, or hot beverage, you're going to bear with us. I'm Jimmy Guerrero, your money coach. I spent 20 years working for the big banks in investments, lending, personal business accounts, community service, you name it. And now that I'm a civilian, I'm going to tell you the secrets, the banking secrets in plain English and or Spanish, depending which program I'm doing, that you'll be able to understand. So you'll be able to really stretch your dollar and be able to budget, save, and put the money where it's going to grow. This morning, I have the pleasure of having a fantastic gentleman, a great human being, Mr. Brandon Ward, that he graciously decided to wake up so early because in Las Vegas, doing a program at 9 o'clock in the morning is like in Ecuador, Peru, South America, doing it at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because Las Vegas is a tourist town. 60 million people a year come and visit us. And we're open. COVID, no COVID, we're open now, full blast. However, get vaccinated where you must so you can come and enjoy 24/7 all the pleasures that Vegas has to offer you, Mr. Tourist. Brandon Ward, good morning. Thank you for attending Capuccino Financiero through World Business Society this morning, a peer-to-peer group designed to bring the business community together and inform the consumer on what is happening in the business world in plain English. How you doing, Brandon?
Good morning, Jimmy, and good morning to the World Business Society community. I'm thankful. I'm blessed to be here. I'm healthy, and I get to deliver my message. So that's always a pleasure.
And we thank you for that. We thank you for that. Now, probably my audience is going to be wondering, who is Mr. Brandon Ward? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Brandon.
So I'm a father of 4. I've been married for 15 years to my beautiful wife, Tiffany, who is also my business partner. We're also authors. I've written 3 books now. My wife has written 3 books as well. The reason why I keep telling you about my wife is because we do everything in union. We have a business called the We Mentality, and she is my business partner. She is the 51% owner, so we're a minority female business owner. And so what we do is, our perception is we learned that as after COVID, we had needed to pivot. And before COVID, I was just a motivational speaker. I used to go out and I talk to middle schools, high schools, to children, and then also to entrepreneurs, business owners, just getting people to live in a purpose, monetizing whatever it is that they love to do to where they can take control of their lives. But I had to go through a few down moments in order to get there, but it was like those blessings in disguise that got me to where I'm at. So I became a certified business coach during the pandemic. I wrote my books, I created my courses, and I did it all with the intention to help others, right? To help people get from being stuck, to help people get from being depressed, anxiety. But then also, once you get from being stuck and down, how do you thrive? And I wanted to create something for that as well. And that's what I did. We created my book, The Manifest and Playbook. We then created our business, the We Mentality, where we help business owners. We help business owners and help them create their teams. So we create their teams that will deliver their vision and their mission. And we make sure that they're aligned. So if there's multiple business owners, we align those 2 owners to where their vision is straight and narrow, to where they're not going in separation. But that's what we do. And then we do a lot of work here in the community, here in Las Vegas. And then we also have a nonprofit where we spread safety awareness, but I'm just going into too much. But that's just a little bit about what we do.
No, on the contrary, this program is 1 hour long, so we're going to really get to know Brandon Ward. Of course, I'll be going over a few consumer tips to help the financial literacy knowledge of my audience. Things that most bankers don't have the time to teach the customers, or frankly, it's not part of the program that they offer. So I was very lucky to see a little bit of your profile. In addition to writing 3 books, you also talk about a personal experience on Halloween night 2013. Tell our audience a little bit about the ups and downs of life, especially this particular down in your life. When things seems to be perfect, you feel like William Shatner, Captain Kirk. going into space at the age of 90. Things seems to be perfect because sometimes life gets to that point when we work hard enough, persevere, believe in a higher power, and we put forth the effort and don't ever throw the towel, say no mas. So just when that happens, sometimes the waves of the ocean has a
Right.
way of bringing you back into the beach. So share with us, if you don't mind, if it's okay with you, that experience that shaped your life.
Jimmy, I think you explained it so perfect within your question. I love the analogy, the waves, and they bring you back onto the beach, right? I was at a high point in my life, and I've had many high points in my life. I was born in California, so I was raised in like San Bernardino, Rialto, Fontana. So majority of the people that I grew up with were minorities, whether it was Hispanic, Black, that was who I grew up with. My coaches were Hispanic. My coaches spoke no English when I played baseball. And I used to love it, right? It's the culture. But what we did is when we moved to Vegas from California, we had moved because we just wanted to create something different. My mother was a felon, my father was a felon, and I wanted to be something different. I became a police officer. And I became a police officer here in Vegas. Yeah, I did it for 3 years, but it just wasn't me. It just wasn't a good fit. I was 22. I was still immature. And that was my first downhill experience. My first downhill experience, it was, I had reached success at an early age, and then I did something stupid and immature, and it got taken away. I got in an argument with somebody while I was off duty, and that argument turned into an IAB complaint. And when you're on probation and you look like me, you don't get no chances. So you don't get no second
Or
chance.
like me, I understand.
They give me the one chance, you don't give you the second one. So I had to pivot, and it took me about 3 years to figure out what I really wanted to do. And during that time, I just went into like management, and I was managing like public safety for the College of Southern Nevada here. I had like eight different locations, 85 employees. It was a beautiful blessing because I had pretty much built myself up from the ground to management and within that company. And then they had given me 85 employees that I was in charge of, and I had no leadership experience at all, none at all. But they saw a leader in me, and that was where I became a leader, and I got a lot of my skills. But it was crazy because right when I got that position, I was like on a high. I was so happy. My baby had just been born, and then it was like my wife and I had a vision. It was like we wanted to buy our first home and wanted to move out of the neighborhood we were in. It wasn't a good neighborhood, and we wanted to just make a transition. So we moved into this new neighborhood, and it's the diverse neighborhood. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. And our first month there, we go out on Halloween, and my daughter, we were trick or treating, and my daughter gets hit by a car. And we had just came from a Halloween trunk or treat event where it was safe, and it was just a beautiful time. And it was crazy. Like my daughter, she was just the student of the month. And right before this accident happened, she says, "Daddy, this was the best Halloween ever. Can we go home now? I got to finish my homework." And I smiled. I look at her, and I get my family together, and we go across the street, and this car comes zooming down. Actually, it was actually the same exact area where if you hear about a accident that just happened in Vegas from a Raiders player, it was around that same street, same neighborhood. Ooh. And I gave my daughter CPR that night, and that night my life completely changed. It was just turned upside down. Up until that point, I really wasn't just focused about my purpose. I was just focused about money. It was just about, getting higher, more power.
The all-American dream.
Yeah, man. I just wanted more power. I wanted to be the boss, and I wanted
me
more
first,
money.
Me second, and me third. That's it.
That was all I cared about. But I cared about my family. I did love my family more than anything. But that was what my focus was. But when my daughter got hit, I gave her CPR. I saved her life. She was in a 2-month coma. She did 6 years in rehab. And during that time, it was just an awakening for me. It just told me that there was so much more to life. As I watched my daughter as a 6-year-old become a baby again, she couldn't hold her head. She couldn't talk. She couldn't eat. She couldn't swallow. They had to put they had to do surgery where they put the thing in her stomach, and they had to feed her through a tube. And it just made me reflect on life, that I felt like I was wasting it. And as a police officer, I felt like I had so much purpose that when that got taken away, I was trying to find myself. And after this happened, I was just down. But during this time, I listened to some Les Brown, and I listened to some Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, and Eric Thomas. And I pretty much locked myself in like my closet, and I just worked on myself every day while my daughter healed. And I started to find myself, and I found my passion. That was where I found my desire to really want to help others, to really want to find where do people need help out in life, and then where could I make a difference, right? Where was there an area in my life where I couldn't find someone when I needed someone? Or where was there an area where you see the numbers, they're down 3% failure, it's a failure rate. Where can we help, right? Where can we influence the world? And that was what I did. So Les Brown just had a voice that spoke into my mind that said, you need to make a difference in life and find your purpose. And I truly believe that along the lines of everything I went through from that tragedy, I found my purpose.
Wow. And what was that purpose, Brandon?
So the purpose was, first, it was just to help others, right? It was just to be of service to others. So I went into physical training. I was helping people with their health. And then when I was helping people with their health, they said, you're a little too hard, man. You too I was only getting people to stay with me for 2-3 months. And then they'll say, man, I need a break. And then once we got into speaking, I started telling my story. And when I started telling my story, I started realizing that from my pain, people were healing from it, because what I was going through, the pain that I was feeling was the same pain that somebody else was feeling. So then I started speaking to that. And then I started encouraging people. And that was where I got that idea of, okay, I can heal you with my words, but how can I get you from that healing that stage where you're stuck, when you don't know what to do, when you have all these dreams and these desires as a child, and you got all of these ideas, but you don't know how to manifest them. You don't know how to make them come to life. You don't know how to monetize it. And then by me speaking and me doing it for free for so long, I had to learn how to monetize my brand. I had to learn I needed a product. So I had to write a book. I needed a course. I had to write my course. I needed to create more relationships. So I started networking. I started getting to know people at the chambers of commerce is here, and getting to know business owners, getting to know bankers like yourself. So as I started aligning myself with these people, more knowledge made itself accessible to me. And I just took advantage. I kept learning and kept learning. And as I kept learning, my wife was working for this company called Action Coach. They're a business coach company. Great. They have a great culture there where they really do build up their employees. So while my wife was getting these paperworks and these trainings to bring home and train at home, I was taking advantage of it, and I was learning it. I took out, I'm taking the course, and I knew more about her company than she knew about it. And then as I learned, I said, you know what? I really want to do this. I really want to get certified as a coach. And that was what I did. I had an opportunity. It was a $75,000 grant. And it was just a blessing. It was a time where I was down on my luck. And this person gave me an opportunity. They let me get into the 10-day class. I was number one in the class. And then from that point forward, I just found my purpose. I started finding, there were small business owners who were really struggling in this world, who they had all the talent. They had all the best ideas, but they didn't know how to run a business. They didn't know how to build a team, or they were trying to do it all by themselves, and they were limiting themselves, right? They didn't know about leverage. They didn't know how to take things they didn't know how to make their money work for themselves. And that was what I did. I just brought this knowledge from there and brought it back down to my neighborhood, to the people who never had it. And then now you see a lot more Black business starting to flourish here in Las Vegas. And that was my purpose. My purpose was to make a difference. And then that was just a small purpose. That's only the beginning to where I'm, to where I really want to go. I want a humanitarian award. I mean, I want to do so many things for my community, but more than anything, I want to unify our people. All the people who have been disadvantaged in America, I really want to take advantage to educate them and show them that we can really thrive without needing anybody. All we need is each other. And if we can cross those lines, if we can bridge those gaps, I truly feel like we can be an empowered nation.
First of all, kudos to you. Secondly, the more I talk to you, the more there's no coincidence. That's the first time I have a pleasure of meeting Mr. Brandon Ward. And Brandon, it's no coincidence we met, because I share the same passion for all communities, especially coming from the Hispanic community, I see the same. I see the same needs in not only the Spanish community. I see the same needs in the Asian community. I see the same needs in the Afro-American, in the Hispanic, in the European. I see the needs in anybody that's a consumer in this world. It doesn't matter the left, the right, the political spectrum, the economic situation, the spiritual situation. We're human beings. We need food. We need shelter. We need education. We need a roof over our head. And that costs money. So that's why I decided to do Capuccino Financiero, because, you know, in 20 years in banking, Brandon, my job as a banker was to make sure that the money was kept safe. FDIC insured, great institutions, great customer service, great tools and resources to help you manage your money. The business owners, they know how to make money, but they don't know how to keep it safe. And they don't know, like you say, how to leverage. And I'm not going to talk about active capital, inactive capital, because I'm no longer a banker. Now I'm a civilian. I'm just going to talk about positive cash flow, negative cash flow, money that works for you, money that deducts from you as a civilian. Now I can talk to you as a civilian in plain English or plain Spanish. So one of the biggest problems, Brandon, that I saw as a business banker was people had a great product. They already work in this many, many years as a worker, but then they learn better than the owner, the product or service of the particular business. And through savings, through budgeting, through savings, they were able to save a little capital. And unfortunately, they either got their hours reduced, or unfortunately, through the economy, the ups and downs of the economy, the cycles of the economy, the business went out of business. And all of a sudden, they had a thank you. Thank you very much for all those 5, 10, 15, 20 years you gave me. Unfortunately, the economy is down right now. I'll be back. But in the meantime, God bless you. Good luck to you. And so they were faced all of a sudden. Some of them limited English, some of them in very difficult situations, family, either the head of the family, the head of the household, men or women, and they had to all of a sudden turn on the entrepreneurship with whatever they had out of 10, 15, 20 years of hard working. And they know how to make money. But like you say, they don't know how to do a business plan. They don't know how to get the licenses. We live in a litigation society, all English common law. So they know how to make money, but they don't know how to get the licenses. They don't know how to write a business plan. They don't know how to test market their ideas. And they don't even know technology to tap it all. So it's just mind-boggling. But then everybody has the power of the millions and millions of years of evolutionary process before human beings came to be, up to the dinosaurs, the intelligent human beings that we are. So it's just a matter of bringing from the subconscious to the conscious, but that takes somebody to help us. And who has the time? Certified coaches, certified mentors, people like you that have experience, had to be in the working world, had to be in the speaking world, had to be in the business world, and they just bringing apples, bananas, and pineapples all in the basket of tools and resources of knowledge that are going to help you turn on the agent of your entrepreneurship. You know, the greatest entrepreneurs I met while I was a banker were not necessarily the master degrees, the PhDs, the rocket scientists, were common people that they just decided to bring their heart, their knowledge, and their willingness to learn, and they love others. They wanted to help others with the product services. And then they got hold of the smart people. Then they got hold of the smart bankers that wanted to truly help them. Then they got hold of the institutions, such as the Small Business Administration, the Urban League, the Chambers of Commerce, Business Work International, community colleges, SCORE, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it started with them, with a need. Somebody said, necessity is the mother of invention. I don't even know, but I remember hearing that. And it's so true in any culture. It's so true. So do you still remember, Brandon, The 3 books that you wrote?
Yeah, the 3 books I wrote is the Pain of a Man, is the Manifesting Playbook, and we have another book called Money Talks.
Wow. Let's talk. Let's take one by one, because I want people to go to Amazon or wherever you publish your books to buy it. Because in this pandemic times, what we need is more inspiration, more love, more understanding, more communication, less ego, less arrogance, uh, less pride, in order to beat these tough times that this pandemic has hit the whole world, the human race with. So let's talk about the first book. If there was a central theme on your first book that could tell us, of course, I don't want you to tell us the whole book because I want people to buy your books.
Understand?
What is the main purpose of your first book? If you could tease us a little bit so we can go buy it.
So as a man, and it wasn't just from a man, it was from a man's perspective of how we truly feel when we're going through pain. Especially if that pain was caused by us, or whether we feel like that pain, we could have did something to prevent that pain from happening. But I took my audience through a cycle of how my depression had me searching for other ways to fulfill my happiness. Right? You know, when you're going through pain and you're going through depression, after so long, you pray to God. Your prayers are, God, I just want to be happy. God, I just want to smile. Like, I couldn't do this. I couldn't, my muscles in my face wouldn't do this. I was always sad, and you can see it. I would walk around and it would look like I was dying. And my wife, she would try to do anything just to make me happy during that time while she was going through her grief and her depression. And I want to tell people how, the doctors are going to prescribe you depression pills. They're going to prescribe you anxiety pills, and you're going to have to make a decision on whether you want to take that or not. And I want people to make sure that they had a counselor, somebody, or if you didn't have a counselor, if you didn't have family, having a mentor, or having somebody to talk to, it was essential at that time. My best friend at that time, during my worst time ever, he had just got fired from his job. So it was like God had aligned his time with my time, and he was able to encourage me through it. He was the one who told me to eat. He was the one who told me to go take a shower. Like he motivated me, inspired me. When we walked around the hospital so I can have some type of physical fitness. It was just the encouragement. But then as a man, I wanted people to realize is that we don't have anybody to talk to. And when you don't have anybody to talk to, I just journaled and I wrote down my experiences. And there were so many things that my wife didn't want to hear. My wife didn't want to say. And because of the depression, even though we had made it through it, we ended up separating during that time. So then that was another blow to my ego. That was another blow to myself. That now I really hated myself then. And it was just a downward spiral. And then I talk about how I picked myself back up. And I picked myself up by telling my story, by finding my purpose. And that's how I tell in meditation, praying, going to church. I was at church 3 or 4 days a week, like, because I was just trying to find myself and I wanted to be in that environment. So I just give a bunch of tips, and I come from a very vulnerable place. There's some things I'm not proud about in the book, but I wanted men to understand what we really go through, and that what you're going through is okay. You're going to get through it. You just got to have intentions of getting through it. And then for women, I wanted them just to realize how their actions, how it truly does affect us, our mental health, and the decisions that we make. I know a lot of men who are in jail right now because they went through a hard time within their relationship. They did something stupid, and now they're paying the consequences for it. I was real big on stopping and just being in my feelings and just feeling it, feeling how I felt inside, but then finding out how to release it. So that's what the first book was about. Although it is centered around me, every man that I talk to, every man that I know, they go through this. And now that I'm able to talk to these men who go through very hard times. I have friends who have friends who have committed suicide, and they feel down and they're sad about that. And I encourage them through that, talk them through that, because people just need a shoulder to not just talk to, but they really need somebody who's intentional about them healing and being better. And that's what I tried to deliver in that book.
I can certainly understand and appreciate, and I thank you for trusting me and this program this morning when uh, my brother got 3 months ago, got infected with COVID in the richest country in the world, in the greatest country in the world. I have people all over the world that tell me, Jimmy, I wish we could live in the United States where we could have the vaccine now instead of waiting 5, 6 months. So when the government decides to offer us that opportunity, why why is it with you Americans? You have money, you have knowledge, you have power, you have the empire. What is it that you won't accept science?
I
You
can
know,
answer that. I can answer it. I'm going to answer it. So in America, I'm just going to be honest with you. We don't trust our government. We don't trust our health system, especially minorities. We've been on the short end of the stick so many times that we just don't believe that if you're forcing something upon us, and honestly, it's another way how the media is portraying it. You have some media outlets who tell you the benefits of it. You have some media outlets who tell you that all these people are passing away from it. And then you have people on social media who have a platform who are telling you what they're going through. And that some people, they just feel like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with God. And honestly, that's how some people feel. There's a lot of Bible scripture that's attached to it, that people attach to it. There's some racism that's attached to it. But more than anything, it's trust. It's how it all happened here in America, how Trump portrayed it, how the scientists portrayed it, and a majority of the people are more like, let me see how it works before I don't want to be the test, right? A lot of people believe that they don't want to be the test. They're going to wait and then they'll get it later. So that's all it is. It's just a trust thing. They want to live the American dream. They want to have freedom. But honestly, we truly feel like everything that happens here happens with an agenda.
and you mentioned the magic word trust. I have an aunt in Ecuador that's 90 years old. She got vaccinated. She's still alive. Never mind you, thank you. All my family there has been vaccinated, but they told me the trust point. Over there, the healthcare system is for service. Here is for profit. Nothing wrong with that. But when you lose the humanity, then we're in big time trouble because we only think with our mind, not our hearts. And that's where a lot of problems start in any kind of society, left, right, whatever. When we lose our humanity, then we just become no better than the car that we drive. And a car cannot tell us whether it feels good or bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the problem with being just matter of fact. Over there, the doctors tell you, Brandon, I appreciate you as my patient. You're in a high risk situation. My recommendation, of course, you decide, would be that you try the vaccines. I have all kinds of patients that already got vaccinated. They're still, I mind you, people with cancer, diabetes, blah, 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 blah. And they show you, they share with you. Here, we live in such a legalistic society that if you look at somebody wrong, oh, wow, assault and battery, boom, I'm going to get the XYZ attorney to help me get your house, your money, your bank, and if possible, your wife and your kids too. So with that kind of mentality, who is going to tell you to suggest anything? We have lost our humanity by being so intelligent, so smart.
Yeah.
And that's where we get us in trouble, my friend.
Yes.
And that's what it was hard for me to understand. Where were the specialists of my brother, the cardiologist, the family doctor? Where were they? Maybe they told him, I don't know. Maybe they did. He never told us. He was just an entrepreneurial person, positive, full of faith, but unfortunately belong to that percentage that they think they know everything. And well, I'll wait. Well, unfortunately, a virus doesn't wait. You either have the solution or you don't,
Yeah.
and it might take your life. But it's okay. Life goes on, and we have to honor them by loving people, understanding people, communicating with people, sharing what we know. Because Sir Isaac Newton said one time when he went to a beach like the one that you see in my background, Sir Isaac Newton, the theory of relativity, said, how much do I know about the truth? And then he said, whoa, I know just a speckle of sand To know the whole truth will take the whole ocean of humanity, the whole ocean of knowledge of humanity to know the whole truth. Can you imagine that? So humility is the key, communication, love, understanding that we are interrelated. We're all interrelated. When you get a flat tire, don't you need somebody to help you?
Definitely.
We're all interrelated, whether we like it to admit it or not. The problem is sometimes we believe the wrong places of information, whether it's Hollywood or, like you said, agencies, both private and public, that only care about their own private interest, not us. So that's why we have Capuccino Financiero, so we can individually share our knowledge, so we can hopefully develop better strategies to better our lives, have a better family, better society, better country, better world. Now, I mentioned also, you mentioned also that you're in coaching and you help businesses, and I'm looking at it. You have some 4 values: partnership, aspiration, commitment, and of course, you're also involved in the community. I also happen to be the president of Toastmaster International, the only Hispanic club. Grupo Gente de Voz is the only Spanish club in Las Vegas, and we do it in Spanish. Now that we all speak English, but of course we wanted to talk in our mother tongue.
Yeah.
So it just happens, like, as I look at your bio, oh wow, you're the vice president of Toastmasters in
Yes, sir.
English. So sometime I'll be visiting you Toastmasters someday. I hope I'll find the time to do that. And I'll invite
definitely
you
send you a link.
to my Spanish. It would be great. It would be
Definitely.
great, Brando. But how you tell me about a few tips that you help small business owners in whatever product or service that they already know, they're already good, but like I told you, the problem is lack of funding, lack of how to knowledge, how to do a business plan, how to do a test pilot program before venturing all their money into it, and how to get mentoring and knowledge, what kind of licenses to get and all of that. So how you, as a business coach, how you able to help them?
So at first I have to establish myself as the expert or as I'm knowledgeable. So I'll normally just do a seminar, whether it's in person or like this via Zoom. And we have a 6-step system in building the business. And in that 6-step system, it's a whole entire process. So what I do is I ask the business owner, where are you at and where do you want to be? Like, what are your aspirations for your business? Is this a business just to pay the rent, just to, to take care, just to put the kids through college? Or is this a business that you want to train someone to do? You want to manage somebody and then you want to be able to live and let the business, is this something that you want to franchise? Is it something that you want to sell? What does the end look like? Once you ask business owners that question, normally they don't know. A lot of times they have no idea. They're just happy that I just got a business license. I just got my store. I just got my insurance. And then now, how do I get the customers to come in? How do you deliver your service? How do you deliver your product? And that's what we do. We see exactly where you are within your business. And then we do a complete evaluation within our 6-step system. And within that evaluation, I can figure out where your weak parts are, where your strong parts are, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. But then then we can attack it based on priority and also based by whatever your budget is. We may be able to just open up chains of marketing. Like if a person doesn't have a budget for marketing, we can do free marketing where we just go social media. We create the platforms, but we also have to create a budget for you. We make sure a person's finances are right. We make sure that their time management is right. But then we also make sure that the vision is aligned with their actions right now. If they say that they want to franchise later, but they're working in their business, they're doing all the work, they don't have any time to build the business, I have to build the structure and the strategy so that they have time to build the business, or so they can leverage other people who are actually skilled at that work, or how they can hire somebody in another country if need be to help them out as a virtual assistant. So I just bring different strategies to the table, but it's all aligned, and then we just do it based on steps. And everything is based off of your vision, your mission, and then what type of people do you need in your culture in order to deliver that. Once you figure that out, now we just figure out what type of leader you are. Where do we need to work with you as an individual so that you can prepare, so you can lead this group of people? And then where do you need discipline, or where do you need fine tuning so that you can be a great business owner? Because you have to have skills. There has to be certain skill sets and knowledge that you must need as a business owner to be successful, or you must have a bunch of money to where you can just hire the right team to do it for you.
Very good. Now let me see if I can share my screen with you, and you mentioned about the strategies. I have a few tips, and I'll see if you can see my screen. Do you see my screen, Brandon?
Acknowledge, yes.
Okay. Well, let me go over a few tips, because Capuccino Financiero is not only about sensational people like you that the community needs to hear and have a chat, a conversation, and a deep conversation into their needs and wants and their strategies. But also, as a former personal banker, I have a few tips without talking as a banker. I'm a civilian now, but just common sense in plain English. You mentioned strategies. To be a successful business person, you have to have a business plan. You have to know why you do, and you have to know why are you better than the competition. And you need to know how to get the licenses, how to get the capital, where to get the capital, and how to position yourself. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time. So to cut short some of that time, I'm going to share some strategies on what makes you money and what takes you money and prevents you from starting that dream business. It prevents you from hiring an action coach like Brandon. Let's talk about good debt and bad debt. At the capital, at the capital. But like I mentioned to you, Brandon, I'm not going to talk as a banker. I'm going to talk simply as a money coach. So good debt is something that helps your money grow. You commit yourself to get an X chunk of money, because in your mind, you're gonna make money off of that. What's an example? A mortgage. My goodness, 9 years ago, Brandon, I moved from Ventura, California. You mentioned that you're also from California. I moved from Ventura, California to Las Vegas. And the value of homes were so low that we're doing some kind of legal protection for consumers called eminent domain. Now, I'm not going to go into that because I'm not an attorney, but basically they were going to do some legal moves to keep people from losing their homes. Thank God we didn't get to that point, because we are a vibrant, free enterprise economy that we just need a little help, and we want to do it ourselves. So at any rate, a mortgage is a good debt, because if you're able to keep it, what happens with your home? You get to deduct the interest. You have the opportunity of growth. And let's look at what happened in 9 years. Homes have doubled. Real estate have doubled in Las Vegas since I moved. Homes that were 250, now they're almost 500.
Yes.
Just what happens in a free market economy. The ups and downs. There's normal. That's a good debt, because you're able to deduct your interest. You're able to participate in the potential growth. And you have a roof over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Bad debt, or debt that takes the opportunity to have your money grow: credit cards, private loans. I'm going to explain to you why. You could be a rocket scientist, a cardiologist. You could be an epidemiologist. My goodness, I'm surprised I can say that word with my ESL. You can be an epidemiologist, but they will not teach you the effect of interest over money over time. Mm. There's a number called the rule of 72. And what that rule, the magic number 72 tells us, if you have a basket of money and you get an institution to pay you an annual interest yield on your money, in what time will that money double? It's called the magical compound interest over time and money. So for our audience, I'm going to explain to you why bad debt will keep you poor. You have a 21% a year credit card. Who are you paying that interest? To the XYZ financial company, not to yourself or your family. So if they lend you 15,000 and they charge you 21% every year, in 3.5 years, if you just pay the minimum, you owe them 30,000. Because you do the math, you divide 21 into 72. It tells you 21% first year, 21% second year, 21% charge on that money that they lend you. That interest goes to the XYZ financial institution, not to your bank account. That's why that's considered bad debt. That's why most experts don't recommend 14 credit cards, $30,000 that are in consumer debt because of the rule of 72. But the system is not designed to teach us the rule of 72 unless you're an investor and you learn it on your own. You see, Brandon, how if we don't get experts, money coaches, how we are hurting ourselves from giving us an opportunity of making money. Yeah. Compare a mortgage at 8%, but then your property grows in value 10%, like the stock market. That's a good debt because even though it's costing you money, you still come on top. Yeah. That's why credit cards is bad debt. Why? Because you cannot write off the interest on a credit card. And the money that you're paying is profit to the financial institution on the money that they lend you, not to your bank account. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I recommend no more than 1-2 credit cards with 0% if possible, or the lowest interest rate possible, because you will not suck the money out of your bank account. Does that make sense?
Man, that makes so much sense.
They
don't teach you that, Jimmy. You know they don't teach us that.
Brandon, I was lucky enough. I won't tell you my age, but I can tell you this, that I was very lucky, man, to have paid 4 new cars. There was no banker that told me, hey, think about it. All the interest you're going to pay, what if you were to get a used car cash and the rest invest in a business, in a mortgage, or in the stock market? I'll be retired by now.
Right.
But the system is not designed to give us that kind of knowledge unless you seek it.
That's right.
Unless you seek it from the money coaches, from the people that know about money. So I wanted to share the good debt, bad debt information to your audience, my audience. So from now on, before you decide I had to spend $1, I would give you this recommendation as a former banker. Out of the dollar, 70 cents is going to be survival, no matter what. But out of the 30 cents, save it for a rainy day. Because one day, when everything goes in circles in a free market economy, 9 years ago, homes were 50% discounted. When we get to the cycle, when we get another discount in mortgages, in the stock, you're able to have maybe $5,000, $10,000 saved in 1 to 3 years, establish goals. In the next 3 years, I'm going to save 5 to 10,000. And I'll show you little steps that you can do that without becoming a monk somewhere in XYZ galaxy. Because when we get those discounts, they call it recession. They call it downturn in the economy. When we get those discounts, you'll have the down payment for maybe your first home, the 3% down. Maybe you'll have the money to buy stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, that will be sold at discounts. And then when the time comes to grow, you'll enjoy that growth, not the huge institutions. You as an individual. That's why it's very important to do the 70-30 money strategy. That's what's important to do this. Budget, save, and know where to have that. Good debt or bad debt. You know, I belong to the generation that I would rather have XYZ coffee in XYZ place than having it at home. But that translating to $1,500 a year. In 10 years is $15,000. Have you put that down payment for a home or in the stock market, you would have doubled in 9 years your money, maybe 5 years. But that system is not designed to teach us that. The system is designed to us be in debt forever. And in the richest country in the world, Brandon, to have us retire with $400 in the bank, a social security check. That's going to be maybe 20, 30% of what we used to make when we were working.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important to have a good banker, a good money coach, an expert, somebody that will listen to you. And sometimes, unfortunately, the system is designed for the high volume customers to give them the kind of attention I'm giving you right now, Brandon, to you and the audience. If you have 100,000, you get to hear this knowledge. If you don't have it, I'm sorry, we don't have the time to give you this knowledge. But in Capuccino Financiero with Jimmy Guerrero, you get on Saturdays, 9 to 10, either in English or Spanish, these tips that God put in my heart to share with the community.
That's right.
So
Jimmy, where do they go to find a financial coach? Where do you suggest people to find a financial coach?
Financial coach, I would say nowadays, banks, the reputable ones, the Chases, the Wells Fargo, the Bank of America, the USA banks, they have online, they have phone coaches. And if they're too busy, I'll give you my information. But this program is not about me. It's about you, Brandon, because there's many, many small business owners in the community. We're almost 3 million people.
Yeah.
There's not enough time to take care of all the small businesses.
Right.
Not from the government, not from the community-based organizations, not from anybody. That's why they need us, Brandon.
Right.
That's why they need us. Going back to you, Brandon, I'm going to make the switch, and then I'll talk about how you can get hold of me. Brandon, for those small business owners that would like to know more about how you can help them go from point A to point B, to go from Las Vegas to Disneyland, which symbolizes their business success, how can they get hold of you? Whether it's in social media, whether it's by phone, by email, smoke signals, whatever it is. Go ahead,
So
Brandon.
I'm a hip hop fan, and one of my favorite rappers, when he used to market himself, he used to just give out his phone number. So my number is 702-482-2574. You can call me, you can text me. I'm pretty sure the line is not going to blow up. I'm going to make some time for you. It may just be a brief phone call or a brief text, and then we'll schedule a meeting from there. We can schedule a Zoom. If you're here in Vegas, we can schedule a one-on-one. But if you guys want to just find me out there in the Zoom land or online, thewementality.org is our .com is our website. I'm on all social medias. I'm on LinkedIn for business purposes. I would rather for you to find me on LinkedIn for business purposes. But if you want to get to know my life and who I am as a father and what I do in my community, you can just look me up on Facebook. I have nothing to hide.
And in Facebook, what is your name?
It's Brandon Ward. It's
Ward.
Brandon Ward. And if you put Brandon Ward, Las Vegas, it'll come up.
So here, this program is being broadcast in many, many social sites here in Las Vegas, both in English and Spanish. And it's also being broadcasted live worldwide, North Pole, South Pole, East, West, right now in the World Business Society Facebook page. Is being broadcasted as we speak, and of course, we're going to send you a copy of the broadcast, Brandon, for your souvenirs. and tell us again the information for those who, unfortunately, Las Vegas is 24/7, 4 different shifts because of the casinos. Some people just getting out of work, or they will be getting out of work. They didn't have time to be watching so early in Las Vegas at 9 o'clock in the morning this program. But they're going. But this program, this video is going to be in the World Business Society page that they can see it whenever they want to. So for those type of people that unfortunately miss this pleasant chat, this pleasant conversation that we had about finances, about business strategy, business needs, and many, many more, please repeat again your information.
So it's Brandon Ward, and you can find me as my name, Brandon Ward, on all social networks. That's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever else. And then also you can look up our business on the wementality.com. That's BTHEWE mentality.com. Or you can just call me at 702-482-2574.
Small business owners of Las Vegas, Nevada, the whole USA. If you're watching my program and you don't have time to be Googling somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can talk, have a conversation. Somebody that's going to hear what you need and what's the best way to being successful in the plans that you have for your business. Or you have any other questions concerning about life, about book, about wanted in these difficult times, how do you start the engine to get going again in this economy? Right now, there's a lot of opportunities for those who want to find it and get the mentors that they need to turn on the engine and go 150 to success. 150 miles an hour to success. You heard it from Mr. Brandon Ward. I encourage you to see this video program again. That's live right now, but it's in World Business Society. You can get hold of me, Jimmy Guerrero. I'm old timer as well. You can call me 805-216-1542 here in the United States. You can also write me, Guerrero, Guerrero 771 at hotmail.com. You can tell you can tell my time period by Hotmail, classic. On social side, on Facebook, I'm under Sid, C-I-D, Valiant, V-A-L-A-N-T-T, Sid Valiant. You can also find me on Instagram under Sid Valiant with V as in Victor, V-A-L-A-I-A-N-T-T. And you can also find me in LinkedIn under Jimmy Guerrero, just like Brandon Ward. You can see all my professional life there. Nothing to hide. It's old-fashioned way, like water, H2O, crystal clear. The most important thing I want you to know is that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. You know, when I flunked English in Ecuador, my teacher told me I'll be a great customer of a pool hall, playing pool. But I had a great mother, single parent of 4 kids, that she was reading Think and Grow Rich back then in the 60s, before it was fashionable for women to be on equal standing with men in knowledge, in business, in the halls of power. She knew that as human beings, there was no sex or religion, only heart, mind, preparation, and activation and action, and sound advice. Fortitude, faith. And thanks to a great stepfather, 23 years in the service, never complained one day. Desert Storm 1 veteran, never complained. I'm here talking to you. Not only did I learn English, I grew up in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Back in the 70s, I was the only Ecuadorian in elementary school. And yes, I have my times of rebellion and this and that, like Brandon said. But I participated in sports. I got to experience the spiritual side, Southern Baptist and all of that. Those were the support systems that kept me away from trouble. Because when money comes and goes, jobs come and go, titles, yeah, I got a BA degree, political science, minor in business economics in English. I wish I could see my English teacher from Ecuador again. I don't know, maybe COVID took him away. May he rest in peace. I hope not. I would love to talk to him. If you really want something, you live in the greatest country in the world where there are tools and resources. It won't happen overnight. It didn't happen to me overnight. But I can tell you, in the 45, 47 years that I have the privilege and the honor to live in the United States of America, it's been worth it, my journey. From working at a tobacco farm, not harvesting because they kicked me out, I didn't know how to harvest, but I wanted to keep in shape to be like Pele back then. By being a nurse's aide for the quadriplegic, to pay my way through college, and work for XYZ retail place before there were elevators to bring the supplies to the attic. It was worth it. Because every hamburger that I enjoy in this greatest country humankind has ever known has been worth it. Because I earned it. And I enjoyed it. Because there's some things that are more powerful than having 100,000 or 10,000 in your bank account. Health, family, taking care of your health, taking care of your loved ones, having a sense of community or purpose, greater than money, titles, possessions. Yes, I don't mind having worked for the two most powerful banks in the world, having hold the investment licenses, the real estate licenses, the insurance licenses, you name it. Even though I'm ESL, I achieved it because I had the support system. Not everybody is lucky, but I'm here for you, in English or Spanish, in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the whole world, to share with you what life has given me. If anything, COVID has taught us, we're not take with us family, money, prestige, titles, possessions, cars, homes, our favorite Hollywood movies, our favorite restaurants. Please think about it. Life is numbers too, not only feelings. Otherwise, the public transportation wouldn't run on time. Businesses wouldn't run on time. If you get vaccinated, 2 out of 100,000, yes, they might still get COVID, but they might not end up in an emergency room like my brother did, face down, and eventually took his life. If you don't get vaccinated, 10 will get infected, and the emergency rooms are full of people that did not get vaccinated. Don't take my word. Research. On Google, there's so much information. Research both sides, the opinions and the facts, and then you make your own mind. But don't go on opinions. If you need a baker, do you go to a mechanic? If you need a painter, do you go to the butcher or to the grocery store clerk? If you need a dentist, do you go to your cardiologist? Think about it. Don't become another statistic. Don't leave your loved ones crying for the rest of your life because you're no longer around. Just take a time to think. Nobody wants to put a chip on your body.
I think Jimmy paused. If Jimmy did pause and I am still recording, I love what Jimmy was saying, exactly what he was passionate about. My final words would be, when you find someone in business, a coach, any type of professional, make sure you align with that person who your success is their success, right? Where your wins are their wins. Where if you struggle, they struggle. If you go through a hard time, they're gonna go through that hard time with you. And if you win, they're gonna congratulate you. Those are the people you want to align with. You can align with big businesses all you want, but they are profit motivated. When you align with an individual, especially small businesses want to make impact in their community and in their society. So find somebody that you trust in and you believe in and sign up with them. And Jimmy is back. Jimmy, go ahead,
Hey,
baby.
if NASA can postpone flights, I'm not as smarter than NASA. Technology is not perfect. But like I was saying, make up your own mind. Look at the knowledge. Trust your doctor, your cardiologist, whoever it is. Go to peer groups, survivor groups on social media, those who have survived. You know, it took me a whole year to get vaccinated. And a week after I got the second dose, my whole family got infected with COVID. By the grace of God, only one of us was lost. So I've been there. I know your journey. I know your cynicism, but get informed, and make the right decision. Nobody wants to tell you what to do. Mr. Brandon Ward, thank you so much for being in Capuccino Financiero this morning. I hope it's not the last time. And there was a reason why we met this morning.
Yes, sir.
To Benjamin Celestino, Xavi Herrera, in Lima, Peru, in Bogota, Colombia, thank you for starting this peer-to-peer group, World Business Society all over the world, so we can meet individuals sharing knowledge to better our lives, our communities, our country, and why not the world.
And each other.
And each other. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
I loved it, man. You were amazing today. I love what you do. Thank you so much. Thank you to your audience. I appreciate you. You guys stay safe and stay motivated and keep moving forward.
Until next time.